Welcome to Flow. Let's get started. Today we'll start off lying down. Bend your knees, bring your feet so they're flat. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Allow your eyes to close or find a soft gaze. And take these first few moments just to come into your breath. We're going to be doing a lot of core work in today's session. Open up through your eyes and bring your hands behind your head. Close your elbows in. Now, using your core strength, start to curl your shoulders up off the ground and then with control, lower down. So even though we've got the elbows pulled in and the head is supported, we're trying to use the neck and the arms as little as possible. We're really thinking about using the core. I'm gonna do this 4 times and then we're gonna move into a little progressive sequence. So after your 4th time, lift your head and neck again and extend your right arm straight out to the side and hold. Try to keep your right shoulder blade hovering up over the mat. Bring your hand back to your head and then lower your head. We take this again, other side. Lift your head, extend your left elbow out to the left, hold for a moment. Bend your left elbow and then lower your head. Now we're gonna progress on from there. Lift your head, lift your shoulders, extend your right arm out to the right, and now bring your right knee to a tabletop position and pause. And then lower your foot, bend your elbow, hand behind your head, and lower your head. Bring your head up, extend your left arm out to the left, tabletop your left knee, pause right there. Feel the engagement of your low abdominals, upper abdominals. Bring your foot down, bring your hand behind your head, and once again, lower your head. We're gonna progress from there. Lift your head, extend your right arm to the side, lift your right knee to tabletop, and now float your left toes up off the ground and hold and hover. Feel more activation into the core. Lower the feet, bring your hand behind your head, and then gently lower your head down. Other side, lift your head up off the ground, extend your left arm out to the left, pull your left knee to tabletop, and bring your right foot up to hover. Hold here. And then with control, bring the feet down, bring your hand behind your head, and lower your head down to the ground. We're gonna progress that. Lift your head, your shoulders, extend your right arm to the right, pull your right knee to tabletop, hover your left foot. Now take your right arm over your right ear and extend your left fingertips towards the front of your mat. Hover here, hold, feel that crunch through your core. Take one more big breath. Hands behind the head, lower your feet, lower your head. One more time, other side, lift your head up off the ground, extend your left arm to the left, pull your left knee to tabletop, float your right foot up off the ground. Now bring your left arm over the left ear and extend your right fingertips to the front of your mat, hold there. Feel that activation, upper core meets lower core, breathe, hold, shoulder blades lift. Hands behind the head, lower the feet, lower the head, come all the way down to the ground. We're gonna go ahead and stretch that out with some bridges. Bring your hands beside your hips and then start to press your hips up into a bridge pose. Feeling the opening into the front of your body. We take about 4 or 5 of these, just pushing the hips up. Feeling that opening into the core, that space that we were just contracting so much. Push your feet down into the ground. Full range of motion here. Taking this at your own pace. You could hover for a little bit longer at the top if that feels good. And we're gonna take a variation of a bridge pose. So we're gonna move your hips down to a halfway point and start to circle through the hips. So it may feel a little bit strange, kind of shifting your weight from one foot to the other and making these big circles with your hips. We're gonna do like 4 in one direction and then go ahead and take like 4 or so in the other direction. Yeah, just finding a little bit of churning sensation into the hips and of course opening into the belly, activation into the glutes. And then after you've done like 4 to one side, 4 to the other side, lower your hips down to the ground and extend your legs long in front of you. Pull your core in, reach your arms up overhead. Feel your ribs knitted, corseted together. Now try to keep your right leg straight and lift it up, and then lift your left leg, and then lower the right leg, and lower the left leg. And we do that again. And if this is a little too much for you, bend through your knees and take that option. But we're gonna take this 4 times just with the legs. So you lift the right leg, lift the left leg, lower the right leg, lower the left leg. Now we're gonna progress this. So lift the right leg, Lift the left leg. Now lift the right arm, lift the left arm. Hold there for a moment and then come out of it by lowering the right leg, lowering the left leg, lowering the right arm, lowering the left arm. We do this again. Lift the right, lift the left. Again, you could bend those knees, lift the right arm, lift the left arm, lower the right leg, lower the left leg, lower the right arm, lower the left arm. Stay nice and corseted in the core. Lift the right leg, lift the left leg, lift the right arm, lift the left arm, lower, lower, nice and controlled, moving through this, isolating. And again, lift the right leg, lift the left leg, lift the right arm, lift the left arm. This time, lift your head and shoulders as much as you can. You're coming into this banana shape. Good. Feel your core knitted, corseted together. And now lower your head, lower your foot, your arm, and just release. Let that go. Take a moment here. You could bend your knees into your chest and kind of rock from side to side. We're going to do all of that again, but moving through the left side. If at any point you need to find a bend in your knees when you're lifting your legs, then find that variation. Extend your legs long, and then we start. Lift your left leg, lift your right leg, lower your left leg, lower your right leg. Nice progression here. Lift the left leg, lift the right leg, lower the left leg, lower the right leg. Feel your core pull in. Lift the left leg, lift the right leg, lower the left leg, lower the right leg. Now we add on left leg, left arm, right arm. Hold for a moment. Upper core meets lower core. Left leg, left arm, right arm. And again, lift the left leg, lift the right leg, lift the left arm, lift the right arm, and then lower. Yes, good. One at a time. Lots of control in this exercise. Continue to feel the ribs knitted into each other. Keep your control with each limb. And we take this again. Lift your left leg, lift your right leg, lift your left arm, lift your right arm, and now lift your head and your shoulders so you're coming into this banana shape. You really feel the crunch, upper abdominals to lower abdominals. Now lower your head, lower your left leg, your right leg, your left arm, your right arm, and then just let it go. Let yourself be heavy. Once again, you could bend your knees and take an easy twist and rock from side to side, just kind of letting that all go, finding some release into the lower back especially. All right, we're gonna keep moving into our core work. You're on your back, hands beside your hips. Pull your knees in, pull your heels towards your glutes. Try to keep your heels close to your glutes as you lift your hips up off the ground and then lower. So this is going to take a certain amount of momentum, but I want you to imagine that you could keep your heels as close to your glutes as you can. So you're really using as much of your core for this exercise as possible. There is going to be a little bit of momentum, but try to use core as much as you can. Now in this next one, lift yourself all the way up to a seated boat pose. Try to keep your feet floating and then roll back down. So your hands can catch behind your thighs and then your hands can come beside your hips. Lift your hips up. Roll up, try to balance in one moment and then roll it down. Good. Lift up, try to balance in one moment and then roll down and lift your hips. Now stay in your boat pose, so stay on your hips. From here, tap your toes down to the ground. So tap your right toes and lift, tap your left toes and lift, and then again, tap and tap. And you can be tapping the heel or the toes, but we just find a little bit of movement. Continue to alternate through the feet, and you could extend your arms forward if you feel comfortable. Good, continue to alternate. Now we're gonna move this into a low boat. Try to keep your thighs together and extend your legs. Feel your shoulders hovering up over the ground. And then lift yourself back up to a high boat. Do that again, lower down. And then lift up. The ankles and the shoulders hover, lower down. And then lift up. Last one just like this, lower down. Now we're gonna start to progress things. So you're gonna lower down, bring your arms up overhead, hold for a moment, reach your arms back forward, pull yourself up to your high boat. Extend your legs. Reach your arms up overhead. Bring your arms back forward with control back to high boat. Again, extend your legs. Arms overhead. Arms back forward. Pull up to your high boat. And again, extend. Arms up overhead. Arms forward. High boat. You can always bring your arms down if you need a little bit of extra assistance. Now stay with your arms up overhead and roll over onto your right side. We're getting a little bit into the oblique territory here. This feels a little awkward and uncomfortable. Roll back to your back, roll over to the left. Try to keep your ankles hovering. Roll to your back, roll over to your right. This is a lot of oblique strength, moving from side to side. Roll over onto your side. Yes, good. Keep this going. Try to keep your hands lifted. Try to keep your ankles lifted. And we're going to take one more each side. Roll over to the right. Bring it back to center. Roll over to the left. Bring it back to center. And then release. Bring your knees into your chest. Take a moment here. Bring your hands behind your thighs. Rock and roll yourself up. Come down to your belly into a Sphinx pose. Bring your forearms, your elbows down to the ground. Try to spread your palms so they're flat. Pull your elbows back and stretch your heart space forward. And we're going to add a little element of core strengthening here. So flip your toes under, push into your elbows, lift up into a forearm plank. Feel your core knit together as you lift your hips. And now do the opposite. Lower the hips down, meet back in your Sphinx. We're going to move between these two. Flip your toes, lift your hips. Feel that moment of oomph to lift the hips up. And then with control, lower your hips, flip your toes, bring your heart up. We take this again. Flip the back toes, lift your hips, push into your elbows. With control, lower your hips, flip your toes, lift your chest. And again, flip the toes under, lift your hips. Feel that activation. Lower your hips, flip the toes, Sphinx pose. Flip your toes under again, lift your hips, forearm plank. Lower your hips down to the ground. And again, flip the toes, forearm plank, and hold. We move this into a side plank. Rotate your left forearm and roll over onto your left side. Now in this side plank, start to bump your hips up and down. So you're actively pushing into your bottom left forearm. And try to get your hips as low as you can. We take about 6 of these and then lift the top leg, reach your arm up overhead. Hold for 5 seconds, come back to center, and we switch right away to the other side. So the right forearm comes down, left arm comes up, and start to take these little lifts with the hips. And this can be more of a full range, or you could be giving little pulses right here. Actively push down into your bottom right forearm. Feel your core really engage, belly button pulls to spine, and then hold. Maybe you float your top leg, maybe the left arm comes up over your ear. Push down into your bottom forearm. Take one more breath. Move back to forearm plank and hold 20 seconds. Spread your fingers wide. Isometric hold. Try not to move here. Lengthen through the back of your neck. Energize out of the crown of your head and breathe. I know we've done a lot of core work. This is our grand finale for your core work. So really just try to pull everything together. Pull your elbows back. Keep that breath moving. You're almost there. Take one more big breath. And then lower your knees down to the ground and meet back in a Sphinx pose. Now allow this Sphinx pose just to stretch out through your abdominals. You could stay there. If you feel comfortable, you could press into your palms for a seal pose. And then you can add a little bit of neck motion, maybe turning your head from side to side or tipping your ear from one side to the other. Allow the stretch through the front of your body. And then release down. Flip on over to your back. We're going to take one bridge pose. Once you're on your back, bring your feet so they're flat. Push your hips up. Open through the front of your hips. Feel that nice expansion again through your belly. Take one more big breath and then lower your hips nice and slow down to the ground. Extend your legs long and heavy in front of you. You could bring your arms down to your side, or you could bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. It's an opportunity to reconnect with your breath. Notice any shifts, how you might feel, especially any heat you may be feeling in your core. Thank you for joining us today. And that's your flow.